Hello, peoples. Today we're going to talk about the Fantastic Four. My name is Andrew, and here I talk about comics from a reader's point of view, collectors, speculators, and investors. Although there's not much to speculate about the Fantastic Four, pretty much every book within the Silver Age, which is what I'm going to talk about today, is worth a couple of bucks. So, Fantastic Four. Before there was Marvel Comics, there was Timely Comics. Stan Lee was working for Timely Comics, and the publisher Martin Goodman noticed that DC was having some success with their Justice League of America, and they said to Stan, they said, I would like to have a group comic book, and Stan Lee came up with the Fantastic Four along with Jack Kirby. I mean, especially in the Silver Age, you have to include the artist in the creative development because Stan Lee might have had some of the ideas, but it was Jack Kirby that created all of the look of these creatures and these heroes. Not only that, but the way that Stan Lee wrote his material was a brief, well, I don't know if it was brief or not, but a plot outline for the upcoming story. The artist, in most cases, Jack Kirby, would fill in the artwork for that story, adding whatever he wanted to add into it, and then later on, Stan Lee would apply all the dialogue. So it was a collaboration. If you hear Stan Lee talk even about the Silver Surfer, he said to Jack, "What is this? What is this guy doing here?" And he explained, "Oh, he's just the Surfer, the hero." He figured somebody as important as Galactus needed a herald. So Silver Surfer was not even in the ballpark when Stan Lee wrote issues 48, 49, and 50. So the Silver Age of the Fantastic Four. It's is it worth the read? Well, yes, just on its own, it's a sprawling science fiction fantasy adventure story. It explores a whole uh, range of different worlds, different planes of reality. There's time travel, there's aliens, there's huge monsters, and it's supported by conflict within the group itself. There's doubts, there's concerns, there's these heroes. They're not infallible, and that's part of the charm of Fantastic Four and charm of the Marvel line. In fact, there is a magazine, here we are, called Comics Journal. And this is issue 210 from 1999, where they look back at the century and they said who are the best, the 100 best comics. Uh, they tend to favor a little bit more, not obscure. I wouldn't say obscure because it's not obscure stuff, but they're not as hyped about the superhero world. In fact, there's only 6 on the top 100 superhero books in their list, while the Hernandez brothers received 5 nominations. I kind of think that's a little skewed. I think there is still some good quality stories within the superhero genre that they sort of left out in favor of something that Hernandez more they're more human centric. They're more slice of life type of thing. But Fantastic Four did place 30th on their list also for its combination of just the fantasy and adventure and also the human elements, the very human elements, and it was a good combination. It's a great long 102 run from Stan Lee and Jack Kirby, talking about the Fantastic Four and their adventures. It's worth the read. You may have some problems with the language, not necessarily that uh, it's crude or rude because it's not. It's from written from a different time, so they had a different vocabulary, different phrases, different way of telling a story. It's interesting to note some of the developments of the characters throughout the run itself, their attitudes towards one another. It's also interesting to watch Jack Kirby's art develop from the basic stuff to something a little bit more polished, a little bit more detailed. Um, so it's a good read for that. It's also a good read beyond just the read for a historical perspective. It's the template for Marvel comic books. Uh, this is the the backbone of the series. It introduced so many different characters and alien races and ideas and ways to tell the story and methods of telling the story. All of the Silver Age stuff can come back to the Fantastic Four as being the bar and also the guideline for how to create the Marvel Universe and develop the Marvel Universe. And so it is an interesting look at it from that point of view, too. And as I said, the whole 102 issues, you get Jack Kirby's artwork, fantastic artist, developed so many of the Marvel characters, and you get Stan Lee's probably some of his best material written on the Fantastic Four. I am currently trying to complete my Fantastic Four run, and I'm down into the Silver Age now with about 40 or so books left to go. Will I ever complete it? That's a who knows for sure. I'm not a dealer or a seller, or I'm just a guy that buys comic books. And to get within the first 20, which is a big chunk of what I need to get, you're looking at spending thousands, if not tens of thousands of dollars, even in lower grade condition. I'm trying to find stuff that is no less than a 3.5. And if I do that, then the first 20 issues are going to cost me a great deal of money. Fantastic Four #1 is going to be a fortune. So chances of me owning one, this is about as close as I'm going to get. Is this reprinted issue of Fantastic Four? But if you can't find this, another good place to find the first issue of the Fantastic Four is going to be in this book here, which is a fun read all on its own. It's Origins of Marvel Comics, written I think in '74, maybe later. Anyways, and as you can see by the look of the heroes on the cover, it talks about how Stan Lee and to some extent Jack Kirby came up with the idea for all of these characters and how they fit into the Marvel scheme of things. And included in here, of course, is the Fantastic Four, and being the very first Marvel comic book, timely, and then it became Fantastic Four in November of 1961. So he talks briefly about inspirations and developments that happened, uh, and that's for 5 main characters in the Marvel universe, and it's a good look and good insight towards his stuff. As far as Kirby is concerned, I got this nice book. It's called Kirby, and it does have all of his, not all of his artwork, but a lot of his artwork. This is I, it does talk a bit. There's not a ton of Marvel material in here, but there is a nice copy of the Fantastic Four #1. But you can see that throughout the book, if you go back, his work that he did in the Golden Age. There's pencil work, there's unused covers, there's sketches, there's talks about his whole uh, life and what have you. So Kirby was a good book for that too, if you like his artwork. And I think anybody who's looking at comic books should be looking at Kirby's artwork. Just take a good look at it. So good book to have. As I said, probably about the closest I'm going to get to having a first issue of the Fantastic Four. In fact, the first issue that I currently have uh, in my Fantastic Four run that's an actual book is this one, issue 24. And it's not a great issue. But you could it could be Spielberg's inspiration from, maybe you remember it from his past, from for E.T., because basically it's about a child alien that arrives on Earth, who is lost. He's wandered away from his parents and finds himself on Earth, and the Fantastic Four have to deal with him and all of his amazing powers, and he's just a wayward kid, lost. It's You're looking at it now, a very simplest story. I mean, the kid seems to be able to react to the same things that a kid from today would react to, or from that period of time, like candy and shows or whatever it is. It's like he's an alien. Candy might actually be poison to them. What do you know? This was before they got very, very in depth, and it was just the simple story of a lost child just happened to be an alien. So here's an issue 24. As I said, that's the earliest I've currently got. I am going to be working on the entire collection, so I have a ways to go, and everything now is going to cost me at least $100 to buy. That's not going to stop me from trying, and it will be a slow grind. And if I get there, I get there, and if I don't, well, it's fun doing the hunt. I've got a couple of books just to show you here that is part of the run. As far as for collecting, yes, I do it because I want to collect the Fantastic Four. There's psychology why we collect, but um, it is something that I am looking to do. This is the Silver Age, and I'm trying to do. So if you're collecting it, it fits into a Fantastic Four collector's box, or you're going into Jack Kirby artwork. There's first appearances. There's a whole host of different characters that come through here. You've got your Doctor Doom, Submariner, Black Panther, Silver Surfer, the Inhumans. You could all have separate collections for all of these, and you'd have to visit the Fantastic Four to be getting some of these books. I always say that if a comic book has more than one applicable collection, it becomes just a little bit more valuable because more people are looking for it. In the hunt for keys, and there are a lot of keys within the whole Silver Age Fantastic Four. Um, you've got the first appearance of Doctor Doom in issue 5. The first group is in Fantastic Four 1. Skrulls appear in number 2. You've got the Mole Man in 1. You've got Puppet Master. Um, you've got the Watcher in 13. And then speaking of the Watcher, you've got this issue here, it's 29. Um, and it's the first cover appearance of the Watcher. That seems to be getting some steam as well. It's the first cover appearance of a particular character. And this is the first cover appearance of the Watcher. Again, I bought this a few years ago, and I managed to get these first two, the one about the little kid and this one, for about $50 a piece, and I was very happy to get that price. I don't think the seller had, I don't know what the seller was thinking. Um, Here is issue 36. This is the first appearance of Medusa. And I don't know if it's the first time the Frightful Four have gotten together. I think it is as well. But it's definitely the first appearance of Medusa. Um, and again, first appearances of some major characters, and I consider Medusa a major character. It's going to be worth a couple of dollars. What surprises me is this one here. Is if I was going to say that there's any kind of spec book, it might be this one. 40 issue 4, from the Silver Age is issue 44. It's the first appearance of Gorgon, which is another one of the royal family of the Inhumans. And this one, it does not cost as much as all of those other Inhuman books that surround it. It's the least expensive of the bunch. And is it just there's no love for Gorgon? I don't know. I personally, he's my favorite of the royal family of Inhumans. So this is a real sharp copy, and I got a nice copy, but it was inexpensive. Um, if I was to look at buying anything, this one you could probably find cheaper than some of the others, and hopefully the love for Gorgon will appear because he is a good character, and I enjoyed this book, and I enjoyed uh, having that character. This is the one where people look at to the most for the Inhumans. 45 is when the Inhumans are first, way up here on the top here, carrying a rock and stuff, first show up in the Fantastic Four as a collective. And again, it's actually not one of the more expensive keys in the Fantastic Four catalog. It's a couple of $100. It depends on condition, $200 to $500 sort of thing. Of course, a lot higher as you get closer up to the nines and what have you. But a mid-grade copy, this copy here, 200, 250, which is not unreasonable for Silver Age Fantastic Four first appearances. So that's one to keep in mind. I got a nice copy of 46, which is just the first cover appearance of Black Bolt, and it's a very nice copy, though. I'm happy with that copy. Very clean, very crisp, very solid copy, and Kirby does a good job with it, showing off the characters on the covers. So this one, I like it. You'll notice that not a lot of Fantastic Four, but a number of the Fantastic Four have red backgrounds, and I particularly like some of them when the red. People always talk about the black, how they want the black to be very deep or the white to be very bright. But I find that if the red can come out really strong, it can make for a real startling cover. So I like the red, and this is one of them. I have another one in here. I don't have issue 48, which is the first Galactus and Silver Surfer. I did manage to get myself a copy of 49, which is the first cover and full appearance of Galactus, and also the first cover of the Silver Surfer. And this one I got dirt cheap X amount of years ago, though. So it's, when I bought it, the seller said, you can use this as a space holder, because it's like a 4.5 type of grade on it. And it's like, yeah, yeah, okay, I'll do that. And it was like $25 or something like that. And I was like, and even then I was debating, 25 bucks. But I was a good buy. $25 was fine for a book like this, even if it was like 10, 12 years ago, or whatever it was, maybe more. Um, I'm happy to have it. And the other one, 48, is the expensive one. It's again 1,000 to whatever from there. It can get less if it's in more beat up condition. But what I'm looking for is probably going to cost me $800 to $1,000, if not more. And I will spend more if I find that the quality of the book is warrants spending more. I have seen books that I remember there was not too long ago. I was at a convention. There was a Fantastic Four number 55, something I still need to get. One person was selling it for $200, and another person was selling it for $1,000. I went and compared the two, and I said, sure, the $1,000 one was in sharper condition than the $200 one. But the question is, was it an $800 difference? And my answer in most cases, and this is no, I'm not going to do that. I don't find that a slight one or two less ticks on this or whatever. You really got to assess the value. Like, is it worth that much more? The reason I didn't get the $200 one is because I spent $225 and got two other Fantastic Four books. One of which I'll show here is in good condition. So this this one I like, and again, it's probably not one of the more expensive ones of the bunch, and that's the this is the first issue 62, the first appearance of Blastar. I mean, I like Blaster. He's just a guy that flies out in the negative zone and just blasts things all to pieces. He's just a brute. But I like the design. Actually, I like a lot of the designs of Kirby. I like Kirby's character design. I like his world design. I like his technology design. It's a lot of fun, and it improves as time goes on. It is a great read just for the artwork itself. So Blastar is a lot of fun. So this is it did used to, and it didn't used to be as expensive as it is now, but it's the first appearance of Ronan, the Accuser. So what? I didn't think that he's a great villain, but he has certainly become more prevalent within the universe. And so whether or not I think he's a great villain or not doesn't matter. It's as far as value is concerned. So this book has gone up in value from times past. It's not crazy. It's certainly an affordable book. First one. This is the beginning of the Warlock him storyline in Fantastic Four 66, and then it carries on to 67, and then there's the Thor 165 and 166. That is the 165 is like the official first appearance of him who becomes Warlock. And I believe it's Marvel Premiere #1, which is the first official Warlock. But it all starts here in issue 66. This is one of those covers when I said I turned down the issue number 55 in favor of two other Fantastic Four books. There is this one and number 75, I believe. But again, this is the talk about the red, and I like how the red is very bold on this one. And this is the second um, full Silver Surfer appearance. First one is in issue number 50, which I don't have. But this is another solo shot of, well, not quite solo because you got the Watcher over here, of the Silver Surfer, and I think it's a nice shot of the Silver Surfer as well. That's just wanted to show you that one. And this Doom is a big guy now, right? Because of all the talk about Doom in the universe and Robert Downey Jr. be playing Doom. So Doom covers have become more valuable. And that's all they are. They're Doom covers. The stories are good. Of course, Silver Age. I don't have to tell you about the story. I've already said that I like it. But I do like this cover. This is kind of a neat cover, and it's a good little story. They're all good little stories, but this one's a fun story. So Doom is throughout. I don't know. He's got probably about a dozen cover appearances throughout the Silver Age. I'm only showing you this one because yeah, people wonder when did the Silver Age. They're pretty much set that the Silver Age began with the beginning of Flash and Showcase number 56, I think, or was that 1956? Showcase number 4 in 1956. But they're not exactly positive when the Silver Age uh, ends and the Bronze Age begins. I've heard talks where the Bronze Age begins on the death of Gwen Stacy. The Bronze Age begins with the first Conan the Barbarian. The Bronze Age begins when Green Arrow and Green Lantern first team up. Um, so, various opinions. But one thing that seems to be stick is the price point. This one is 15 cents. The issue prior to this was 12 cents. So a lot of people also believe that the Silver Age ends when the first 15-cent book hit the stands. I'll go by that one. That one's fine. So this would be the first Bronze Age Fantastic Four, but it's still in the Stan Lee Jack Kirby run. And the last book on here is this is I got this at a nice price, and it was after I bought it that Agatha Harkness became something significant. So the value of this one jumped up because of that. Um, and it's a good copy, but it's the first Agatha Harkness. Now, the Agatha Harkness in the Fantastic Four is nothing like the Agatha Harkness on the TV show, um, but still, people are interested in this one. So, as far as speculation and investment, if you can get a Fantastic Four Silver Age in high grade, somebody will want it. Whether or not you'll be able to get more money from it, like if you bought one of these, say in a 9.4 for $500, would you be able to sell it for $1,000 2 years from now? I don't know. Would you even be able to get your $500 back for it? I don't know that either. But the chances are that somebody would be interested in buying a Silver Age Fantastic Four book. It's not quite as blue chip as the Amazing Spider-Man as far as collectability, but it does have a strong following, a number of people who are interested in Silver Age Fantastic Four books. I buy it because I like the Fantastic Four, and I buy it because I like to collect and I want to have the entire run. But as I said, I do it for myself, so I have no intention of flipping or selling this book. That will be, as I said before, my kids. They'll be able to do something with that. So thanks for listening. I'll do part 2 later on when we'll talk a little bit about the Bronze Age. But for now, that's it, and we'll see you later, people.